Hello, everybody. I had to change it up. Now I've got a drunk man's words or a sober man's thoughts. And how fitting that's gonna be for tonight's cases. Oh, hello, Nana Laura, my faithful friend. Hello, Joey Bag of Donuts. Hello, Linda Applegate. You are too sweet to me. Hello, Spider-Man. Speaking of sweet, it's the ice cream man himself. He's got the salty and sweet going on, though. Hello, Ava. Speaking of sweet. Oh, such a pretty girl. Oh, I had so much fun this afternoon, you guys. That was great, and I felt so loved. You guys are amazing. Hello, Charlie. Good to see you again. Oh, you guys are so wonderful and so sweet to me. I just can't even thank you enough. Yeah, eventually Billy came back out of it and moved onto my bed. Yeah. He he took over Ava's kennel and she was having an absolute tantrum about it. It was the cutest thing. I thought she had to go potty. And she was huffing and stomping around and so I got up and I followed her and I was getting ready to take her out and I realized she's heading to the back where her food dish is. I'm like, oh, are you hungry? And no, she's outside of her kennel, stomping her feet and hoofing, and Billy's just sleeping on her bed. I posted the pic in Discord. It was great. Oh my goodness. Oh, this giant dog bed, and it's Billy just laying in the middle of it, taking it over. Oh, they are just so funny. So fun, too. I love when she has her little temper tantrums. Naps are good. Naps are always approved. So we're going to go to Georgia tonight for the majority of the cases. And then we do end up in Michigan again. We have to because Judge Gauthier gets a case that he really isn't happy about having. a plea deal he's not happy about having, I should say. Oi! How you doing, Mortimer Duke, my love? Is it Gauthier or Gauthier? I don't know. It's Gauthier something. And I love him. I absolutely adore him. Hello, Eileenie Carlin. How you doing? Yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of that tonight. Whole lot of little of that. You look so goofy. She just can't even replicate it. Oh, just make sure you hit the like button before you go to sleep, love. I'd appreciate it. That's an oi oi. Oh, is that anything like a double Oreo? It's a double oi oyo. gosh, you guys keep me young, I swear. All right, Ava, I'm going to need my hand back. It's mine, darn it. You trying to say something? Oh, thank you, Mortimer Duke. Oh, you are the best. I love you. And Ava loves you. Okay. Some beef liver treats. The cats completely stole these. I have to mix the smaller pieces in with their kibble because Earl was literally tearing into the bag. So, yeah. Here you go, pretty girl. Do you want the list alphabetically or chronologically? No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Catherine Gaston. I love you. Thank you. Oh, now my hands smell like beef liver treats. Oh, hold on. Give me the rubbing alcohol. What good are you if you can't pass me the rubbing alcohol? I need to. Oh, I don't even like the smell of liver when it's for humans. And that one, yeah, that kind of lasts. Wow, my goodness. All right, guys. I've there. I've officially, grossed myself out here. I'm gonna start having to just pour those out onto a plate for her, like I do with the kitty cats. Yeah, dog slobber and beef liver treats. Yummy. No. You don't know where they've been. Oh my goodness. No, Ava's definitely not complaining about it. In fact, she wishes I would just pass her the whole kitty bowl. Yeah, she'd be fine with that. Where'd you go, anyways? Oh, she abandoned me. Just got her treats and left. Whoa. I'm sad. All right, guys. Let's get into this and have some fun. Oh, feel better, Charlie. Hit the like button and lie down. I promise. This will lull you to sleep. No, probably keep you up screaming at the laptop.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow.
Good afternoon, Francois. How are you?
Pretty good in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Who do we have?
Position number 2, Ms. Kofer.
Good afternoon, Ms. Kofer. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender or conflict attorney this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Kofer, you've been charged in case 25 CR 001966F with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth, 2015 DUI conviction, 2014 reckless conduct arrest. And 02 marijuana dead docket.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
Thank you. Your Honor, this incident took place on September 14th, 2024. Police responded to a call for a dispute. The complainant, Deja Kofer, who's the victim, stated that she was in a physical altercation with her mother. She stated that she was sleeping prior to her mother coming home, which is the incident location, and she woke up to her mother yelling in another room. She went to go check on her mother, who was in the living room, and they were discussing a situation that had happened prior. And that's when the defendant grabbed her by her hair and started to drag her around. Ms. Kofer stated that she did not want to fight her mother, so she didn't attempt to fight back. At the time of the incident, the officers were unable to get a consistent story from the defendant, and they noticed that she was slurring her speech. So she advised them that she had been drinking earlier before the incident occurred. Officers observed injuries on Mrs. Kofer, which included scratches on her face, forehead, cheek. And she also had visible bleeding and scratches on her hands, as well as a bald spot in the back of her head area.
She literally ripped her kid's hair out of her head, dragging her around the house. Is that how you're supposed to do it? I feel like I done mothering wrong.
Along with bruising as well. We did speak with Mrs. Kofer today. She stated that her and the defendant are no longer living together and are on good terms. Based on that, the state's current recommendation is a signature bond with no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. While on bond, the state advises for no further violent contact. We would like to sound for the victim, Ms. Deja Kofer. That'll be all.
If Ms. Kofer is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Yes, this is me.
Yes, Ms. Kofer, if you can raise your right hand for me. Or are you on camera, ma'am?
No, hold on for 1 second. Can you see me?
Yes, Ms. Kofer, raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Me and my mom, we had just gotten into like a small dispute. It was really nothing major. I had braids in my hair, so she had just really pulled out like a couple of braids, and that was really it. I don't want to press charges on my mom.
Okay.
Oh, it was only a couple of braids. Only a couple of braids. Those braids should still be in your head, child.
Appreciate you being here this afternoon, Ms. Kofer. Ms. McLeod, good afternoon. Is this your case?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon. We are fine with the state's recommendation for bond and also with contact because my client does want to have contact with her daughter.
Okay. For each charge, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Deja Kofer. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Kofer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. McLeod, do we need to go through Mr. Whitmer's history again?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Howard, can you give me the history again, please?
2016, possession of a Schedule 2 counts, sale of cocaine conviction, 04 batteries, DV, simple battery, DV conviction.
Thank you.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. So this incident, this was a delayed arrest. This took place on June 2nd, 2024 in Atlanta. I believe that's an apartment complex of some sort. The law enforcement responded to report of an assault. The victim, Miles Whitmire, reported to APD that he and his brother, the defendant, were involved in a verbal dispute because it was over rent money. And during which The victim called the defendant a derogatory term. In response, the defendant struck the victim in the face and continued striking him, swinging more and more punches, put his arms up to defend himself. Their mother ultimately had to intervene here.
When you're a grown-ass man and your mama has to break up a fight between you and your brother, you need to reevaluate your life choices.
Miss Shania Whitmire, that's Shonya. She had to intervene. The defendant had left the scene before police arrived, which is why he's coming to us today. From this incident, the victim ultimately sustained a laceration to his forehead and a laceration to his right elbow. Identified the defendant from a photographic lineup, and a warrant was then issued for the arrest. We have spoken with the victim in this case, confirmed they are brothers. They no longer live together at the incident location. He confirmed the events in the warrant, but stated that nothing like this has ever happened before, and that they have been in contact since with no issues. He says he wants to continue contact with the defendant. We would ask the court sound for him when appropriate. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, given that previous battery, simple battery, family violence, and it was also a cruelty to children conviction, 2004. We're asking for no further violent contact with Miles Whitmire, stay away from Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Miles Whitmire is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, we are okay with just about everything the state has said.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, hold on, Mr. Whitmire. Let's see, Ms. McLeod, let me go to Mr. I apologize. Let me go to Mr. Whitmire and see what he has to
Your
say.
Honor.
I'll be, yes, you're not driving, are you, Mr. Whitmire?
No, I'm in the passenger seat.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
We have never had, or we haven't had, been resolved it ourselves in between our family. So I would just like them to be free.
All right, thank you for being here this afternoon, sir.
I love that you couldn't make out a darn word of it, but the judge pretends that he heard it. He heard it all.
Yes, you can continue, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, we agree with just about everything, but I think if the address is where either mom resides or the alleged victim also resides, that he should be able to go there. My understanding is that they've totally resolved the issue. They're getting along as brothers, or, as a family. So I don't think it is necessary to have a restriction for him to go there. Otherwise, we're fine with the bond condition, the signature bond to pretrial and no further violent contact.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further violent contact with Miles Whitmire. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Whitmire.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Is that Ms. McLeod's last case?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Back on, Ms. McLeod. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good evening.
You too.
Position number 8, Mr. Mansell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mansell. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001974B with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
2014 sale of marijuana conviction. 2011 ag assault burglary. And before that was a vehicle homicide charge from the 90s.
Sally?
Thank you, Your Honor. My information shows the defendant's criminal history is somewhat remote, although violent and felonious in nature. This is an incident from the 13th of April. At about 11 p.m., police were called to a residence at 2207 Bigwood Trail. There, they met with a witness outside the location who reported that one roommate, the defendant in front of you, had gotten into an altercation with another roommate and strangled her by holding her down on the stairwell with her neck against the railing. The witness told police that she witnessed this incident. She told the defendant in front of you multiple times to let go of the victim. The victim's name is Nakia Campbell. Eventually, the defendant let go of the victim's neck, and the victim was gasping for air as she was strangled, and afterwards, obviously, was upset. The witness reported that the defendant came home intoxicated, that they all hung out and were drinking, that the victim in this case, Nakia Campbell, is his ex-girlfriend who's living at the location. And ultimately, when police spoke to Ms. Campbell, what she explained is that another woman had been brought into the home. The defendant explained that this other woman was in fact a family member of his coming to visit, and he was allowing her to stay. And she realized that the woman was not in fact one of his family members, but was his new girlfriend.
Oh, the old kissing cousins trick, huh?
She acknowledged that she was grabbed by the neck and that there was an argument. We did speak to Mrs. Campbell today. She said that she was able to get breath, which is why she was seen gasping, because of how she was defending herself from being grabbed by the neck. The documents out of South Fulton specifically say she sustained no injuries as a result of this incident. Mrs. Campbell reported that they share no children, and nothing like this has ever happened before. She says she wants to continue contact. It's the state's position that continuing to live all in the same household is probably not the best idea. We're asking for a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor, and to stay away from Mrs. Campbell, no contact with Ms. Campbell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. If you'd sound for Ms. Campbell, please. Thank you.
Ms. Nakia Campbell is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
I don't at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Mr. Chatai?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client would like to ask the court to consider a signature bond instead. My client is 51 years old. He's been living in the state of Georgia for the past 40 years. He got his GED, and for the past 3 years, he's had stable employment. He has been a lead operator for a warehouse in store distribution. He also informed me that his mother passed away recently, and he's trying to keep the house that belonged to his mother, and he's also trying to keep his car. For those reasons, he tells me that a signature bond would be appropriate for him. So that's what I would like to ask the court to consider.
Okay. It will be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 3 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Campbell. While Ms. Campbell is living at the Bigwood Trail address, he cannot live there, so he can have a one-time escort to retrieve any belongings from the Bigwood Trail address. If Ms. Campbell moves from that address, then of course he can go back to no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mansell.
Next, we'll go position number 14, Mr. Ward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ward. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001971J with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, 2 counts, disorderly conduct, simple battery against a police officer, and escape of custody confinement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
24. We got an open possession of heroin out of Superior Court. On probation out of COB for obstruction, terrorist threats. 2023 simple battery, that's open in state court. 23 CR 007 136J. 2020 FTA. 2014 ag assault conviction. 2012 battery conviction.
Mr. Siraka?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place yesterday, April 14th at 30 Alabama Street, Atlanta, which is the MARTA station there. Law enforcement was on patrol at the MARTA station when the defendant started beating on the glass of the post where the officer was standing. trying to get a free ride. And he became unruly, screaming obscenities, cursing. The officer had told him to leave, per MARTA's policy. Noticed a pungent smell of alcohol coming from him, as well as that he had dilated pupils. He refused multiple instructions to leave. And when officers attempted to handcuff him, he ran from one of the officers and continued resisting when they had to take him to the ground, ultimately to get him in custody. While in custody, the defendant at the precinct asked to use the restroom. And afterwards, he ran out of the cell and into an office. And ultimately, officers were able to regain control of the defendant. But during that, he had kicked one of the officers in the leg.
This had to be absolute chaos. I want the body cam video.
He has I see previous giving false information to law enforcement, conviction 2011, same conviction 2012, only with that, there's a battery conviction as well. Ag assault conviction 2015, willful obstruction and terroristic threats and acts conviction 2024. And he's also, there's another arrest for willful obstruction 2020. I don't have the disposition for that. But yes, there is that simple battery as well. That was actually another MARTA PD arrest, that time at Lindbergh Station, where the defendant is accused of walking up to a victim, a MARTA patron there, and striking him in the jaw. He received a 4,000 signature bond from Judge Mincy for that. That case is now in Judge Besson's courtroom. Given this would be the 5th criminal case involving law enforcement, 3 of which were convictions, and his 5th criminal case where violence is committed or threatened, 3 of which were convictions. The other one I'm referring to is that open simple battery in Besson. The defendant is exhibited both violent tendencies and a consistent disregard for the officers of the state, their sacrifices and now their safety, and he poses a risk of reoffense. As such, the state's recommendation for the disorderly conduct is a $500 surety bond. For the 2 counts of willful obstruction, a $1,000 surety bond on each, a $1,000 surety bond on the escape charge, and a $1,500 surety on the simple battery against a law enforcement officer, for a total of $5,000 surety. ADET, stay away from all MARTA premises and property, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That's all for the state.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, 35-year-old Antonio B. Ward is a high school graduate who has worked in restaurants for the last 10 years. He asked the court to consider a bond that would ensure his return to court.
Okay, for the simple battery against a police officer will be a $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges will be a $500 good bond each, makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. Stay away from MARTA, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ward. Who do we have there, courtroom 2?
Add on number 1, Mr. Anthony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Anthony. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001983E with reckless driving, no insurance, driving while your license was suspended or revoked, and fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 2020 probation. 2014 open container uninsured motor vehicle conviction. 2013 failed to give him proper signal conviction.
Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, this is an incident from the 20th of March this year, 2025. Officers observed the defendant driving a white Ford Explorer. They were able to run the information on that vehicle, and it returned back to him being the registered owner and also being unlicensed, having had his license suspended on the 13th of March. He was driving up Calhoun Street or Cahoon, maybe Street Southwest. I think it's Cahoon, at a high rate of speed towards police. He was observed driving recklessly. The officers' cars were marked. He then backed into his driveway a few houses down. Officers made contact with the driver there at 1745. The LED headlights were still on. They tried to check. Somebody had left the vehicle, although the lights were on. They also noticed and got verification that the insurance on the vehicle was invalid. They did a knock and talk at the location, and then another vehicle pulled up. A female there said they didn't know anybody who drives that vehicle. Someone at 1747 also said they didn't know. So the vehicle tow process was started as a tow truck showed up. A black male tried to hop into the vehicle that was there in the driveway that police had seen flying down the street, and he tried to leave in the car. Officers told him to get out of the car and unlock the door. He refused to do that. He backed up in the car and tried to flee the scene. Officers had to pursue him in their vehicle, and that was also him going down Cahoon Street recklessly, and a bolo was put out for him and an arrest warrant was obtained. And so when he was arrested yesterday, I believe these warrants were still active. He was in felony court this morning for being a felon in possession of a firearm that was discovered during another traffic stop. His history includes lots of driving recklessly and driving without a license. We're asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor, that he not drive without the proper license documents and requirements of a vehicle and have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Did he get a bond on this in felony court, Miss Allen?
He didn't get a bond on this case, Your Honor. He had a $1,000 bond on the reckless driving, a $600 bond on no insurance, $600 on no license, and a $1,000 bond on fleeing. That was given when the warrants were signed, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Rockwell, good afternoon.
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon, Judge. That's correct. He did get a bond this morning on his felonies. Judge, for the record, he was born in Washington, D.C., but has been in the state since he's 2 years of age. Attended Tri-Cities High School, also attended Miles College in Birmingham for college, where he studied business administration. He is not married, no children, is the owner of Y, as in Yankee, B as in Bravo Exotics. And that is an exotic car rental place.
Wow. So he owns an exotic car rental place and was high-speed racing his Ford Explorer down Calhoun Street. And yeah, apparently he doesn't have a license. That's going to impact his business some.
What I know is that besides the case that he dealt with this morning, Judge, he's not on probation, parole, or any kind of suspended sentence, nor does he have any other open cases. I would ask the court to set a reasonable bond with conditions. Actually, the bonds are really already set, so I mean, the bonds are reasonable, Judge.
Okay. I'm going to make it a $500 good bond on each charge, make for a total of a $2,000 good bond, no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Judge, I'll just text Madam Prosecutor directly. If you could just, Madam Prosecutor, send me that accusation number, please, ma'am.
I'll make sure you have everything you need.
Thank you so much. And Judge, y'all have a good holiday. Thank you.
Do the same,
Bye-bye.
Mr. Rockwell. Good luck to you, Mr. Anthony.
We'll go with add-on number 2, Mr. Thompson.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001982A with simple battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Well, on probation for burglary, theft by taking, criminal damage to property, second degree, fleeing an officer, hit and run. It's 18 SC 162802. Also, possession of marijuana with intent obstruction, criminal attempt to commit burglary, 2016 and two 2015 FTAs, and he has 3 probation holds. So,
Thank you. Mr. Soraka?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place on April 14th, 2025. So yesterday in Sandy Springs, law enforcement had responded to a domestic dispute call at the location, and upon arrival spoke with the victim, Emily Sneed, who explained that she had gotten into an argument with her boyfriend, the defendant, who lives with her at the incident location. The victim explained the defendant had become angry, kicked open the bathroom door and threw a metal canteen at her, striking her in her right hand. She also stated the defendant had hit her in the back of the neck, but then became uncooperative and wouldn't provide additional information. Defendant had left the scene prior to law enforcement's arrival, and he was located by one of the officers who, in full uniform, the defendant saw, fled, and ignored subsequent commands from said officer to stop fleeing. After a search, he was found ultimately hiding in the bushes after a search at like 990 Hammond Drive, at which point he was placed under arrest. He has that among his convictions, I see burglary, willful obstruction. There's a slew of them in 2019, but most relevantly, burglary, willful obstruction of law enforcement, fleeing and eluding, hit and run, criminal damage to property in the second degree, and manufacture, possession, distribution, sale of marijuana, 2019. And then also I see a possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and obstruction in 2019. There are other arrests for willful obstruction, 2013, disposition unknown, and the same situation for a willful obstruction and a simple assault case from 2018. I see that he was, as of February 4th of this year, wanted out of Atlanta for parole violations for several of those cases from 2019. I can list them for you if you want, but 2 of which I just listed. They're 18 SC 162802, 18 SC 160889, and 18 SC 160706. We've spoken with the victim in this case. They are in a relationship. They do live together at the incident location. It's an extended stay. And they don't share children. She's explained that this is not, she didn't call the police in this, but she believes someone heard them arguing, she says, and called. She's confirmed the events in the warrant, but stated she never wanted the police involved and doesn't wish for this case to move forward. She stated they've had some physical altercations in the past, but never to this extent. So this seems to be an escalation. She stated she's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. We would ask the court sound for her when appropriate. I will say we did listen to the jail calls. Defendant has apologized, and there was discussion about whether her mom would be willing to pay his bond, to which she said, not if I tell her what happened. And he asked her actually not to tell her mom what happened. Given that this is far from the first willful obstruction case, this would actually be his 5th, 2 priors being convictions, and that this is not their first physical altercation either. It's just the first one that police have responded to. And from what it sounds like, it was a report from a third party, a concerned citizen, and not her, who had the wherewithal and the care to call. We're concerned from her safety and the possibility of future violent incidents. As such, the state's recommendation on each count is a $1,500 surety bond. No further contact with Emily Sneed. Stay away from Sandy Springs, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Miss Emily Sneed is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Yes. Good afternoon,
Yes,
Sneed. If you'd like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Well, first, I'm not trying to be rude, but I found it astonishing that Mr. Scirocco, I apologize if I mess up your name, that you went so hard on Ashton. First of all, he got out in 2019, and he hasn't had like any issues. Like he hasn't been back to jail, arrested since he got out in, what is that, 2023, 2024. So I mean, can we give a Black man his kudos for, trying to stay on the right path? So that's number one. And number two, like, the physical, like, yeah, that's our first big physical situation. And really someone called because the windows were left up in our hotel room. We don't live there. By the way, we were just staying there. We're actually dealing with homelessness right now. So that's really probably has something to do with his probation violation for his other cases. And we're just trying to make it the best we can, honestly. He was doing good as far as his work. He was changing oil and also doing security. I am, a former educator now, and I'm going through my own mental things. He's going through things as well. So, I mean, it was just a rocky morning, a high stress morning, and we forgot the windows were up. So of course people are right there, so they hear, and I'm on my time of the month. So I mean, I'm gonna just throw it out there. So yeah, I apologize for that, but I mean, it is what it is. I stopped being cooperative with the police once I realized that they were not there to really assist to that point. And they were asking a lot of questions. And so yeah, I stopped becoming cooperative because then I realized they're trying to take my man to, like, they're trying to, I don't know, capture him.
They were trying to protect you by arresting your abuser. And it wasn't all just because your windows got left open. Like, that's the dumbest excuse I have ever heard. This is all because the windows got left open. No, someone heard because the windows got left open, maybe. But it's on him.
So Ms. Sneed, I was told that this has happened before. Is that the case?
No, sir, no. I don't know why my words got misconstrued to that extent, but no, sir. My parents love him. I'm an only child, and my parents are strict about who I bring home, and they love him.
Because you lie to them. Because don't tell my mom what you did. Yeah, of course they're going to love him. They don't know
So, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to speak like this on the Zoom, but I don't appreciate someone slandering him. Like there's been other people on here that I feel like should have had a higher bond or whatever, but then you give him a 1,500 bond. Like that's a lot. For what, sir?
Well, Ms. Sneed, it's a recommendation from the state. I'm the one that gives him the bond, okay?
Okay.
So, and I'm listening to you and taking into account what you're telling me. But nobody is slandering anybody. Mr. Sirocco is doing his job, and he is reading from what he's got on the report and what the criminal history was. The criminal history is what it is, okay? So, are you afraid of him?
No, sir, not at all.
And are you all still living at that extended stay?
No, we were not allowed to stay there anymore since the police came.
And do you want to tell me what happened on the date of this incident?
We just, I mean, honestly, it just boils down to we woke up cranky. Like I was in the restroom and he came in asking me questions, and I'm bad at waking. I had just woke up, so I don't like being questioned when I'm waking up. And I'm like, I had an attitude, not like really verbal, but I had an attitude. You know, it's my woman time. So I do have an attitude and I don't want to be bothered. And I'm not really saying anything. Of course, I know that kind of pisses him off. But so we do end up having like a verbal dispute later on, like a little bit like right after that. He doesn't like being shut out. And I don't like being shut out. And sometimes sometimes we can be petty. And again, it's first thing in the morning and I'm pretty much just being a female. And again, we did not realize the windows were left up from the night prior. We fell asleep watching TV. So yeah, we didn't realize the windows was up. Some people were out there, they heard and they called. And that's pretty much it. I just feel like personal business is personal. I'm not scared of him in any way, shape, or form. Like that's my person. And so yesterday was probably one of the hardest days of my life because I'm dealing with homelessness, and then the person that I love got, I didn't expect for him to be taken away. So.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Sneed.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, it's heard quite a bit of detail already, Your Honor. Let me see if I can add anything to it. He is 30 years old. He did get out of prison on those other charges and has pretty much stayed out of trouble. We've heard from Ms. Sneed the nature of the issue and the argument. I would point out that his obstruction was not charged as anything but not cooperating. They said that they told him he wasn't free to leave and that he went to the bushes instead, but he wasn't offering violence. Of course, it's not a felony obstruction. Given those matters, Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider a signature bond for this.
All right. For the simple battery, it'd be $1,000 good bond. For the obstruction, a $500 good bond makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further violent contact with Ms. Sneed. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thompson.
All right, and up next we have sentencing in People v. Michael LaFave. Two file numbers, 24-6895 and 24-6992. Counsel, please state your appearances for the record.
Melissa Goodrich, Blaine County Prosecutor.
Good afternoon, may it please the Honorable Court for William Johnson on behalf of Mr. Temple.
Good afternoon, and we're here in 6895 for sentencing on possession of methamphetamine, 10-year felony, guidelines at 10 to 23 months, and misdemeanor operating while intoxicated with an occupant under 16, 1 year maximum. file 6992, jail contraband case, advisory guidelines of 5 to 17 months. Any additions or corrections or scoring challenges from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any from the people?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor. The client has had, three matters. And I appreciate and understand the probation department's statement about him picking up these 3 cases while not even being in the jurisdiction for that long. My client was, having some struggles, but he's taking responsibility for, these 3 cases in some fashion. Understanding that, with some of these matters, particularly with the operating under the influence case, that he had some real good tribal issues on that case in terms of whether or not he really was under the influence of a controlled substance. In the possession case, the individual who the jail thought he gave a controlled substance to tested negative for that controlled substance. The substance they thought was a controlled substance tested negative. But, instead of playing games, he stepped up and acknowledged that he was doing stuff in the jail that he shouldn't be doing. And I know the probation department, when they do these PSIs, and there's nothing specific to the county, they, make their recommendation regardless of the strength or weaknesses of any particular case. Forgive
me, Mr. Johnson, I'm a bit at a loss as to how to take that argument. You sound like you're arguing that your client, although innocent, entered pleas of guilty to an offense, and I should sentence him as though he's not guilty. So I'm not sure what it is you're trying to tell me.
What I'm saying is the court should take into account, we ask the court to take into account that, and this is a court of law, the government has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Not when somebody enters a plea. I mean, I just don't think this is a road that's very fruitful road for you here, because if you're telling me, if Mr. LaFave wants to tell me right now he's not guilty of these offenses, he can withdraw his plea and we'll have a jury trial. I do not want innocent people convicted in this courtroom. But if people plead guilty, I'm going to sentence them as though they're guilty. I'm not going to come here and pretend that they're innocent and just took a plea to a weak case. That's not what I'm here. That's not why I'm in this job.
And he's not indicating he's innocent. But he's
then you're telling me he might not have been under the influence when he's driving with his daughter in the car. Was he or wasn't he?
Yeah, he took a plea to be under the influence.
Okay, then don't come to sentencing and tell me he might not have been under the influence. You can give me mitigating factors, but your client's innocence is not a mitigating factor.
One of the mitigating factors is the substance that the police originally thought that he was under the influence of, he didn't have in his system. And the substance that he had in the system was so low.
There you go again. You're telling me he wasn't high? What do you tell me in human terms? What are you trying to tell me? Your client wasn't high when he's driving with his daughter in the car? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah, what I'm saying is he was not pulled over for observations that an officer made believing that he was under the influence.
So what? Was he driving high with his daughter in the car? Yes or no?
Yeah, he had substances in his system when he was driving his daughter in the car.
You're not going where I'm leading you. I'm not going where you're leading me is what I'm telling you. So
we're asking the court on the possession of controls of the prisoner's possession contraband charge, sentence him to 6 months in the county jail. And on the other charges, to sentence him to the low end of 9 months jail.
All right, thank you. Mr. LaFave, you don't have to make a statement today, but you're allowed to tell me anything you want. What do you want to tell us?
I just want to take this opportunity to I have a letter.
That's fine. If you want to read it, that's fine.
No. I'd like to take this opportunity first to take responsibility for my actions. My poor choices that led me here caused a great deal of damage, not only to myself, but my friends and family, my children, and the growth of our relationships. I am truly sorry for the choices I made. I've been taking the steps to better myself during my incarceration. I've been putting full force and sincere, genuine, and honest effort in facing my addiction and the root causes behind my addiction and my poor decision making. I not only attend AA and church at every opportunity, I've made healthy relationships with other like-minded inmates and sincerely trying to better themselves, discuss not only religion, but recovery back in the cell nightly. And I'm aware of the steps I need to take forward and continue striving to better myself, not only for my well-being, but for my children. And just want to thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Goodrich, any recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. The defendant is 38 years old with 1 prior felony and 11 prior misdemeanors. He is employed with a 9th grade education. I would ask the court to follow the recommendations in the PSI. They do comport with the plea agreement. I think factors taken into consideration, whereas pointed out by the court that there was a child in the car. Not only was there a child in the car, but that child was not properly restrained in that vehicle. That the defendant, as pointed out in the PSI, has an outstanding warrant in another state. And
So the child was not properly restrained in the vehicle that the child's father was driving high in at the time of the child being in the vehicle. Gotcha. Father of the year.
just finished up a case in another county. Also, one of these cases occurred while he was in jail. It seems like in reflecting his criminal history as outlined in the PSI, that there is an ongoing substance abuse issue that the defendant has not properly addressed. It also looks like he has been given a lot of breaks in the past. I think he has to understand that at this time, at 38 years old, it's time to get serious about addressing his issues, or he will be facing prison next time. Thank you.
Can you help me understand a little bit? I'm trying to wrap my head around just the timing of things. Maybe the first data point might be, Mr. LaFave, do you know your out date in Otsego?
It's November 8th, sir.
All right, so Ms. Goodrich and Mr. Johnson, the plea agreement was for a sentence agreement, including any incarceration ordered shall not exceed 12 months county jail. And the position that this court has consistently taken is that the statute mandates consecutive sentencing for a felony committed in jail. I know some other courts treat that as a discretionary consecutive. I interpret that statute to be mandatory consecutive. So how is it the intention of this plea agreement that a sentence be fashioned so that his total incarceration in both of these files is no more than 12 months, or is it 12 months each is the cap, or can you remind me what that intention was?
Yeah, the intention, I believe, was that it was no more than 12 months total in jail for the 2 cases.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, is that your understanding?
That's correct, yeah.
But that's without regard to what time he might or might not have in the Otsego case?
Correct.
Understanding this one?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so it's not as if the sentencing agreement is for me to fashion a sentence to coincide with the same outdate.
Correct. I think it was designed where at Otsego, he did not go to prison, and we're keeping that same here.
Okay. All right, Mr. LaFave, if you want to stand for the court sentence. This is, there's a lot going on in this case because you had 2 files and then also a case in Otsego County. So here we had a case where Mr. LaFave he's 38 years old, only has 1 prior felony, 11 prior misdemeanors, and some fairly significant juvenile history. A pending warrant for failing to appear in North Dakota. I presume that's one of the factors that prevents him from having contact with his daughter out in North Dakota. So that's unfortunate. He doesn't take care of that and never try to build a relationship with her. But in any event, here in our county, he's driving while high with a child in the car, despite his lawyer's protestations otherwise. And he took a plea to that. It was a guilty plea, and I'm going to sentence him as if he's guilty to it. He drove while high with his daughter in the car. That's a very dangerous decision.
Improperly restrained daughter in the car while high.
That's the misdemeanor. That's the 1-year misdemeanor, and then the possession of methamphetamine. So I grant you that the thing that concerns me most about that event is the driving high with your daughter in the car. And the legislature sees fit to say that that is punishable by no more than a year. Possessing residue of methamphetamine, 10 years in prison, but driving high with a kid in your car, 1 year. So the plea agreement, is consistent with what I'm most troubled with in that case. But what makes this a little bit difficult is then while you're on bond for that, you are possessing methamphetamine in Otsego County. And then I think we must have revoked your bond here. So you end up in the jail. And then you're like concealing or secreting some medications in the jail and even sharing them with other folks. That's a very serious situation as well. And methadone, there could have been an overdose or something. That's very serious matter. I mean, that's scored in the guidelines. It comes up to 5 to 17. But I interpret that statute to require mandatory consecutive sentencing. But even if I'm wrong about that statute, it certainly is discretionary consecutive sentencing to commit a felony while another felony is pending. And I would indeed impose consecutive sentencing as a matter of discretion for someone who's got one felony pending, commits another, and then when they get into jail, commit yet another. So it's kind of tough how to balance all those out. There'd be a bit of an argument that maybe all of this adds up to a short stint in the Department of Corrections. The sentence agreement calls for avoiding that. You do have a lot of prior poor history on probation, so I'm not going to place you on any kind of probation. You've shown consistently in your life that you're not a good probationer. So it's just a matter of how much time do we give you. So trying to balance all of those things, in file 6895, there's $118 in state costs, $130 in the crime victims assessment, $350 in court costs, $225 in OUIL reimbursement, and a $200 fine. And both of those will be sentenced to 12 months in 12 months in jail with credit for 131 days previously served. And in file 6992, there's $68 in state cost, $130 in the crime victims assessment. I'm not going to assess court costs or fine in the second file. And in that file, at the advisory guideline range of 5 to 17 months, I am going to sentence you to 6 months in the Sheboygan County Jail, credit for 0 days previously served because it's consecutive to file 6895. I would also find that in the exercise of my discretion, it should be consecutive to the Otsego County case of 24-6763FH. For the reason that while you were on, well, number one, I think it's mandatory consecutive to that case under the statute. To the extent it's not, I would exercise my discretion to impose consecutive sentencing for delivery of narcotic while in the jail while you had felonies pending. I think what that means when I add that up is that I am exceeding the plea agreement by a bit, because you'll end up doing, well, I've given you here 12 months plus 6 months consecutive in the jail. You get credit on the first case, but not on the second. So that I'm not, on these charges, not sending you to prison. Note that there is a 20-year delivery that was dismissed. So because I'm going outside the plea agreement, I am required to give you an opportunity to withdraw your plea and go to trial on that 20-year delivery. So what I'll do is give you some time to, while we call another case, maybe talk with your attorney back in the hole, bring you back out and see whether you want to accept the court sentence or withdraw your plea or go to trial. Also, I will say sometimes that puts you really on the spot. So if you want a week or two to think about it, I'll not sentence you and reschedule it, having now announced what my intended sentence is and give you more time. So why don't you go back and just talk with your attorney and see what you want to do. Right? We'll pass the case. And are we ready to call Mr. Dave?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ooh. So it's either take the deal and serve more than a year in jail, or go to trial on a 20-year felony. Nice play, Judge. Nice play.
All right, so we're recalling people be LaFave, 6895 and 6992. The court had announced an intended sentence that does exceed the sentence agreement by a bit, and afforded Mr. LaFave an opportunity to discuss with his attorney whether he wished to withdraw his plea or go forward with the announced sentence. Mr. Johnson, do you know what your client's intention is?
Yes, Your Honor. This time my client wishes to withdraw his plea.
Okay, the pleas are withdrawn, and this will be back in approved trial posture. We will schedule this for a docket call. Now, he'll be returned, I imagine, to the Otsego County Jail to continue serving his sentence. And so a Zoom appearance for a docket call would be certainly acceptable, Mr. Johnson. Do you prefer morning or afternoon for a Zoom docket call on this one?
Afternoon, Your Honor.
How about I think I have to put it out to May 6th. Our April days are getting really full. So May 6th at 3 p.m. So, and Ms. Goodrich, for your office, submit the writ to a video writ to the Otsego Jail. For
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything further from the people?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set then, Mr. LaFave.
And he didn't take it. Wow. Oh, I'll be watching the Otsego calendar before then, because I'm sure he'll have to have an appearance there. So he's getting sent back to Otsego right now. And yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eye on that calendar and seeing if he pops up. Yeah, that one just blew my mind. I couldn't believe the judge did that. It was a great play. It was a great play. And the judge knew exactly what he was doing. You know, he was not happy with those charges. So, yeah, but it's discretionary. The judge does not have to go with the plea if he does not feel that it's just and fair and appropriate. The judge has every right to sentence outside of the plea, but then give them the opportunity to withdraw their plea if they so choose. And he so chose. So yeah, that's what I got for you today. Yeah, 2 live streams. Yay. I did it. And now I gotta bust my butt on making Replay Crew mini videos. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I couldn't imagine doing anything different. You guys give me purpose. You give me strength. You give me reason. Sometimes you give me a headache, Mortimer Duke. No. Oh, but I love it. And I love you guys. So thank you guys for coming out to see me again. The second time. Third for some of you, because I did put up one Replay Crew mini. So, yeah. Give a gal her kudos, right? Oh, I could not believe those victims. Oh my gosh, every one of them. Every one of them. It's a syndrome, man. It really is. It's a syndrome. But all right, guys. I'm gonna get off of here. Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do. I am so grateful for you guys. So I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to get cracking on making the replay crew minis and then get cracking on finding content for tomorrow. Oh, hopefully I can get 2 in tomorrow too. The roar of your applause shall keep me awake. Yes, everybody have a wonderful night. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Oh, wait. Oh, my God, I didn't read that. You're going to get me in so much trouble. I did not read that comment. Oh, Mortimer Duke, you are going to get me in so much trouble. I can already see the comments. The trolls are going to eat that one up. Oh my gosh. I really got to learn to read your comments first. I already know to read reds. Yeah, those. No, they can be. Oh, they can be. And they will be. Well, that only works on the Replay Crew minis. If I edit the live streams after they've been posted, then I can't use them at all for making shorts or anything like that. Like it disables the content creator's ability to then do any remixes with it. Yeah, so it's either just leave it in there and cut it out of the Replay Crew minis, which I don't put the ending scene in anyways. You're not the one that has to listen to them. That's all right. That's all right. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It's not my fault. It's your fault. They're mad. Oh, Earl, you're a piggy. You're a piggy pig. Here, take it over here. Here, you want some liver? You want some liver? He loves the chicken. The freeze-dried chicken. Yeah, that's his favorite. He cherry picks out of that dish. I've got the kibble, the liver, and the chicken all in that dish, and he will cherry pick out the chicken. Oh my gosh. I told you Mortimer Duke gives me a headache, guys. I said it. I said it first. You heard it here. I still love you, though. Oh, my goodness. Okay, guys. Before Mortimer Duke gets me in any more trouble, be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love. Oh, I'm clicking bad stuff. Stop. Oh, no, I didn't want to click that. Oh, okay, let me try this again. I'm a professional, y'all. I'm a pro at this. Golly, I'm doing so good. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.